Welcome. If you'd like to learn how to cure OCD intrusive thoughts, then you might want to consider a few sessions of online mindfulness therapy with me. Mindfulness therapy is a very effective way for working with intrusive thoughts and obsessive thoughts in general. It helps you learn how to change the relationship that you have to thoughts in general, so that you don't become overwhelmed by them, that you don't become identified with thoughts. That is the first key training in mindfulness therapy, is how to be with your thoughts without becoming reactive, without becoming identified with them, without allowing them to dominate the mind. It's possible to sit with your thoughts and see them as objects in the mind, the same way that you could sit with a dangerous animal and watch it, but without becoming overwhelmed with fear. We go to the zoo, we see animals in the zoo that could be very dangerous if we didn't have a good relationship with them. In that case, where we're separated by the cage that the animals are in. It's possible to put your thoughts into a cage too, if necessary. But the thing is, when you work with your thoughts using mindfulness, you can basically create the right internal situation whereby you can be with that thought without becoming overwhelmed by it. So the primary way we do this is by actually meditating on our thoughts. We deliberately choose to meditate on our intrusive thoughts, but we do it under controlled circumstances. We make the choice to invite this thought into the mind for the purpose of training with it. So that's quite different. The main problem with OCD intrusive thoughts is that there's no consciousness involved. They just arise spontaneously in a habitual and conditioned manner, and then create emotional suffering. But we can change that by choosing to invite the scary thought into the mind, but on our terms. And that makes all the difference. So building a relationship with the thoughts in which we learn how to become less and less reactive is a primary function that we develop during mindfulness therapy sessions. Another thing that is quite interesting, and that I will teach you and show you how to do during these therapy sessions, is how to work with the imagery of the thoughts. So any thought that has an emotional charge to it will have associated emotional imagery. The most simple example of that is that the emotional charge of the thought appears very large and very close, and usually above us. That's why we say, I feel overwhelmed by the thought, because literally we see the thought above us, and it has to be big in order to be overwhelming, and it has to be very close to be overwhelming. So the imagery of the thought is really quite important. Actually, I would say it's vitally important. When we meditate on our thoughts consciously, we get to see this imagery. And when we see the imagery, then we can change that imagery, because all emotional imagery is a product of habit, of conditioning. And habit can be changed when we develop a conscious relationship with the habit. So we look at the imagery of our emotions, our emotionally charged thoughts, and we help change that imagery and diminish the emotional charge of the thought. So this is working with the emotions underneath the thoughts in a very productive and positive way that leads to the resolution and basically the healing of the thought, so it no longer has that emotional charge that makes it intrusive. So this is a very effective way of working with obsessive thoughts, with intrusive thoughts, and for basically neutralizing them so that they don't catalyze compulsive behaviors, which is the second stage of OCD. After the intrusive thoughts comes compulsive behaviors, but those behaviors are powered by the emotional charge of the intrusive thought. So if you'd like to learn more about how to cure OCD, how to basically neutralize those intrusive thoughts and break out of the very scary place that OCD, intrusive thoughts, creates, then do please send me an email and let's schedule a trial therapy session via Skype, and I will show you how to work with your thoughts using mindfulness. It's by far the most effective method out there besides CBT. And most people that I work with see quite dramatic changes within the first 3 to 4 sessions. So please contact me and let's schedule a session. Thank you.